Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first part of this three-part mini series, the actual content part of things. This is the alignment section. So we're going to be talking about the alignment stage of my framework and how to kind of make that work for you. So why does alignment matter? Alignment matters because it's about getting clear on what you actually really want your life to look like and how you can make that happen. And the thing is that if you're not acting from a place of alignment, then things are going to feel really difficult, unsupportive, and even draining for you. So I want to give you an example to help you understand what exactly I'm talking about here. So when I was back in my waitressing job, what I really wanted was I wanted to get paid to be an author. I didn't want to have to work some side job in a totally unrelated field just so that I could go home and spend my extra 2 hours of the day writing books, which then didn't even give me enough time to work on publishing and marketing the books, right? So what I really wanted was to spend more of my time writing than working in that unrelated job. I wanted to travel to schools and libraries with my book, and I wanted to do fulfilling work that helped people. And those were like my core desires, and my life was not in alignment with that. My reality was that I was working a shifting schedule at a waitressing job. I never knew my hours. I was always feeling stressed because I had a micromanaging boss. I felt really unfulfilled, and I really hated my job because I wasn't good at it. I was really bad at making coffee, and I really didn't like dealing with customers, and I didn't feel like I was really changing their life by making them coffee. And so the other thing is I rarely had time or energy for writing because I was always so tired after working my shifts, and I didn't get any time off for travel. Like, getting time off was so difficult in that job, just for like holidays, let alone actually trying to do stuff on the side for work, right? So it was just never going to work if I was ever going to do book tours or writing workshops. I never would have been able to do it in a job like that. And sure, I could have found another job, but it wasn't really what I wanted to do, right? So I think it's really important for you to figure out what is it that you really want. If there were no restrictions, if you didn't have to worry about money or your skill set, what would you do? What would you spend your time doing, and why would you do it that way? So that's the first thing I want you to really figure out here. So how I shifted. So I did not wake up one day and quit my job and start a business and have everything fall into place. As you would have realized by watching the first video, things took a bit of time to get there. So the first thing that happened is that when I was in that job, I recognized that I desired more from my life, and I wanted to work a secondary job within the publishing industry and not some waitressing job. So when I was in that job, I actually wasn't looking at starting my own business. I was looking at potential jobs in publishing, and that came with its own challenges, like moving to a city where they had jobs like that, and like lots of things came up there. And that's how I kind of got that job in publishing. I took on a remote position in a marketing role for a little bit until I decided, like, hey, I actually want to do it myself. So like it led from one thing to another, and then for a while I was drawn towards freelancing, and that's when I was mentoring authors, and I thought to myself, maybe I can freelance. And then I decided to take the leap and just start a business, because then it would, like, instead of me having to compete for work, I would just get to choose that I had work, right? So that's kind of how that decision process happened, but it started with me deciding I want something different, and I'm going to actually take steps to make something different happen, right? So then that led me to coaching. After a year of spinning my wheels, in that first year, I didn't know what my business was. I was like, I'm going to help authors, and I didn't know what that looked like. So I really just tried a whole bunch of things until I found the thing that I really liked. And then finally that gave me clarity that I wanted freedom, and I wanted my author brand, and I wanted to help people by guiding and teaching them. So that's kind of led me to where I am today, and has created a lifestyle that supports my authorship. But it didn't happen by me just deciding I'm going to quit my job and then quitting my job and then just making a lot of money in a business. It definitely did not happen like that. So the other thing I want you to realize here is that it's okay if this alignment piece takes you some time to figure out, but you're not going to figure it out if you don't start taking steps towards it, if you don't start getting honest with yourself about where you're at and whether that is actually supporting where you want to go, right? So in short, I decided to do something different. I took steps to get there, and I let myself be guided along the way. But I also committed to what I knew with absolute clarity that I wanted, and I didn't give up until I got there. In that first year of my business, I only made $80, and that probably would have been enough to make most people go, well, this is not working. I need to go back to a full-time job. Not me. And I was in a very lucky, blessed position in that year where I didn't have to worry about like bills and things like that. But that's because I was quite young. And I know that's not the situation for everyone. But the thing is that I stuck with it because I knew that I really wanted this. I really wanted to be my own boss. So it's also about figuring out when things are not working. Instead of giving up, it's about figuring out what needs to change here so that I can actually have what I want. And understanding that just because it's not working right off the bat doesn't mean it's not meant to be. It might just mean that you need to change tactics a little bit, right? So just keep that in mind as well. Now, I want to give you a secondary example here. So when I left my publisher, it's because I realized that there's very short deadlines I was working on was going against my own creative process and my entrepreneurial lifestyle. I had a few clashing sort of value beliefs there about how they were doing things and how I wanted to do things. And it was really just making me feel like things were not in alignment, and it was leading to a lot of burnout. So I decided that instead of me living my life structured around their book publishing deadlines, I would just take back control. And it felt way more in alignment for me to be in that control and to give myself time for my creative process to thrive. So a decision that you can make to figure out what's in alignment for you is to figure out right off the bat whether self-publishing or traditional publishing is better suited for you based on your lifestyle and your routine and your habits and your desires, right? So for some people, you can do it both ways, and that's totally fine. For other people, one or the other may be a better fit. You know, if you have, if you're really busy in your life and you really don't have the time or the desire to learn the business side of publishing and to learn the marketing side of things, you may actually benefit from having a publishing house take care of those things for you, right? But alternatively, if you are someone who, you know, has a lot of responsibilities and you really can't be working in really short deadlines like me, then you might find it really difficult to keep up with a traditional publisher, and you may find it better to have the flexibility to set your own deadlines, right? So it kind of just depends on what's going on for you and what you actually want things to be like in the long-term scheme of things. So that's another way that you can kind of get into alignment, is figure that out first and then figure out what that looks like for you in 5 years or so. So here are some journal prompts for you, and I want you to go ahead and grab a notebook, write these out, and then journal on them. So if you haven't done journaling before, basically how it works is that you write one of these prompts down and then you just fill a page with whatever comes into your mind, right? So for example, if you were going to write on the journal prompt of what currently feels out of alignment for you, some things that might come up for you might be, you know, working a full-time job, or your 2-hour commute, or not having the time to write on Saturdays or after 9 p.m. when you feel most inspired. It might be having those publishing deadlines that you already have, or it might be, you know, feeling like you don't have any options aside from self-publishing. So whatever's coming up for you there, go ahead and jot that down, because it's going to give you clarity on what needs to shift so that you can get to a more aligned place. And then some other journal prompts here are, if you were handed $1 million tomorrow and you could do anything, what would you choose to do? What is no longer serving you in your life? What do you truly desire to do, have, be, and experience? What is the most obvious next step that you know you need to take, even if you don't know how to take it or why you should take it, but you know it's coming up for you and you know you need to do it? And what do you want your life to look like 5 years from now? All of these prompts are going to help you get massive clarity on what that aligned version of authorship actually looks like for you, and what needs to shift right now to help you get there. So go ahead and do these prompts. Don't just listen to this and go, okay, cool, and then never do them. Actually sit down and do them. I would really rather you do it now and then watch the second module after you've done them. Because trust me, it's going to help you so much. So go ahead and do those. And then once you've done them, go ahead and tune into the next video to learn about the strategy aspect of the framework. And I'll see you guys in that video.